Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge here with another batch of Moonrise reveals. So starting off today, before we get into the video, Sunseed just got to reveal a Earth Elestral, Ardbud, which is the first stage of Ard Farm, who we've had for a bit because it was a preview card in the tournament packs. So this is a 2/1. You can disenchant a spirit from your insectoid cards in order to special send this Ardbird into an Ard Farm from your deck. When this Ardbud receives one or more Earth, you can search your deck for one spirit Earth Elestral, one spirit Insectoid Elestral, sorry, and add to your hand. So the search effect is pretty strong. It being a receive means that you can potentially proc it multiple times, which has alter synergies, which is really, really cool. I'm not sure what other Insectoid Elestrals that exist in Earth that you could really take advantage of with this, but searching stuff like Viscers and Spectres is already pretty good. So that's pretty cool. The stat line is, of course, really, really bad. And something I'm taking particular note of is the disenchant one from your Insectoid cards. Now, right now, the only application of that is your Rhynymph in the Rune Row. You would be able to disenchant from that Rhynymph in the Rune Row in order to do the special send. But that still requires you to use your normal cast so that you can get the Rhynymph onto the field and then into the Rune Row. So I'm not sure that's why they would include that. I feel like I get the impression that there will probably be a non-Elestral Insectoid, like a Stadium Rune seems like the most likely. That we'll be able to disenchant from. It would be cool if it was similar to Ursaden, that enchants to itself, and then you're able to use Ardbud to disenchant from it. That would be really sick. And if we get something like that, that's going to allow Ardbud to immediately special send into Ard Farm, that means you're getting 2 Insectoid searches like in one turn, which is actually kind of crazy, because there are a lot of really strong Insectoids. Like, for example, if you splashed a Rhinosect Rhynymph line into this deck, whatever form it ends up taking, well, now you just were able to search the whole line, because Ardbud can search the 1-cost Rhynymph, and then Ardvarm can search any Insectoid, so it can just get the Rhinosect. So that's really, really cool. I'm very excited to see the rest of this Insectoid deck. It's one of the things I've been most excited about out of Moonrise, because I think Ardvarm is, like, independently could be a really strong card just because of its ability to look at any, like, a good Insectoid and go, okay, I'm going to pop that while also getting to Special Ascend, while also getting to search for any of the really good Insectoid cards, which is just really, really powerful. So I'm really excited for the full details on this Insectoid strategy, because I assume it is going to be more than just this Ascension line. We'll probably get like some Insectoids that are like personally tailored for this strategy at the very least. So we could get like a special cast Insectoid. That could help a lot. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the reveals from today's Moonrise reveal video. It is water time. We got a decent chunk of the water stuff in the Joblin and Snark reveals, but there were like 4 more Celestial slots left, and these are those 4. So first we have a reprint of Oystress, which of course means that we are getting Ascension for it. Oystress is not a very good card. It's a 1/3 that gets +1 defense for each enchanting one on your field, which can get decently high, but like with Eddie and Mudlet running around, especially now, it's just super easy for this to be switched to attack position where it's super vulnerable. And like it's just super passive even if you do get its defense really high. Its Ascension though is not too bad. Oystillery is a 4/8 2 Water Spirit Elestral. It can special ascend from your Oystress on the field. This Oystillery in your hand can special ascend from your Oystress. If you also disenchant a water from your field, so you just gotta find a way to get another water on your field, and then you can do this, which is pretty cool. And then you can discard any water card in order to target and destroy a card, which is just very, very strong. Like, no, there being like no like spirit cost to this effect is like very strong. Very appealing card. I like this card a lot. It's like a good way to convert your card advantage into good stuff. The fact that the special ascend only works over Oyster specifically is like a demerit for sure. Like you're going to need to be able to normal send into this for this to be any good. But like I do think this card has some solid potential because that is a very nice removal effect. I like it a lot. But at the same time, water has a lot of ascensions that just pop things. Can pop things pretty reliably. So like I'm not so sure about that, but we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I think it's a card that has some like solid potential. Now we have the cool stuff. So Starbit is a 1/1, a 1 water spirit Elestral. This Starbit gets +2 attack for each water enchanting it. So it's going to be minimum a 3/1. You can Nexus up to 2 water, and when this Starbit has 7 or more attack, this is going to become real familiar real fast. During your main phase, you must either destroy it or special send it to Starbit Supernova from your hand or deck. Also, this is an ethereal, so it is searchable by Exaltus. So obviously, the playline here is you get like Poseidon on the field. You Nexus 2 from it to Starbit with Starbit's effect. Starbit is now getting +6 from the water spirits on it, and it now special ascends. You can also do this with like say move 1 water spirit to it and have an Atlantis on the field. It's getting +3 for each of those water spirits. Or you can use Necklace of Harmonia to just buff it up by 5, and they'll immediately trigger. That one doesn't feel super good because you end up just hard spending 2 spirits to do that. You're not going to have the opportunity to Nexus off the Harmonia before the 7 or more during your main phase triggers. So that's not super ideal. But yeah, there's a lot of ways for this to happen. And then Supernova is 1 water spirit Elestral. So it's still only 1 cost, which is very relevant, honestly, because unlike Cryoburn, it means your opponent only has to spend 2 when they shield or PTA this. It is a 7/2. It cannot be normal cast, and when you special cast it with another Starbit's effect, it gains the effect if this Starbit would be destroyed. First, you may Nexus all spirits from it. If you do, draw a card, then it is destroyed. So that effect is very nice. Then you keep access to those spirits, so this card is effectively free, and you don't have to worry about having to put all your eggs in one basket. Its stat line is very, very nice. The 7 attack more particularly. And you draw a card when it dies. Those are all very appealing traits. It as like a special ascension line, I do want to note this is way, way worse than Kryoling, Cryovern. Even discounting Cryo Scorch, a lot of what makes Kryoling strong is that you don't need any other cards for it to work. As soon as you hit that threshold, you just slap down Cryolings and they start special ascending into Cryovern. It's very, very powerful. That's not the case here. You will always need Nexus banks of some sort for you to be able to Nexus and do your thing. And if you get Gorgon's Gaze, it's not a situation of, okay, if my special ascender lives, it's going to immediately attempt it again as soon as I enter the main phase again. No, because if they Gorgon's Gaze you, those spirits aren't going to be on the Starbit because they will have never been Nexus there. So you'll have to go for it again, and that opens up the opportunity for your opponent to like have gotten rid of the source, etc., etc. So there's some big weaknesses there. Stat line wise, it's also a lot worse. 2 defense means it's Cryoblast vulnerable. It's a lot cheaper to PTA or shield it. And like unlike Cryovern, if your opponent just drops an Eddy or Mudlet, those just solo Starbit. So those are all a bunch of weaknesses. However, it does have some unique traits that Cryovern does not have that make me feel that this card has a lot of potential. The big thing is that it is a 1 spirit Elestral, which means it is a valid target for a ton of special cast stuff in water. So like you can just ignore the fact that that special effect it gets from Starbit. You can choose to just run like 2 copies of this card and go like, okay, I'm gonna go into this with like Foamee or Rise from the Depths, and that's a very powerful play. Like getting a 7 attacker off of Foamee or Rise from the Depths is insane. It's crazy. It's really, really strong. So like that's more the avenue that I think is going to be really powerful about Starbit. You can also have the original Starbit in your deck and still have access to those lines as even more ways to get into Starbit Supernova, and just constantly threaten this card. So that's pretty cool. Another couple ways that you can get into this. Coastolith can special cast it from your hand, which is very cool. But it does have some not ideal anti-synergy with Coastolith. Basically, like, Coastolith really wants to have the stat swapping of Galaxy online, but Starbit really, really does not. So I don't foresee those two really being used together because, like, one of their bodies is going to be not doing a whole lot on the field. But that is another way you can get into it. Caprigal is an ascension that when it runs over something, it gets to revive a 1-cost water Elestral. And this is a very powerful 1-cost that you can be going into. This is an extremely strong card in that context of, oh, this is a 7 attacker that you can special cast off of a lot of Water's tools. And, like, that part of the card could be like a game changer for Water. That could really save it from the current scenario it's in. However, Water is going to continue to have a problem with the fact that Galaxy is a very common tech right now, and cards like this really fold to Galaxy. They do not perform well into it because this is just going to be a 2/7. It's not going to be doing anything. However, actually, now that I say that, you can, because you're just using it for stat line, I believe a lot of those special casters don't care about what you enchant it with. So you can just misenchant this. You can, like, misenchant with, like, fire to make yourself, to give yourself the security against eruption or whatever. Misenchant with, like, lunar or solar to make it Navi immune, stuff like that. There's some good options for misenchanting, and that might be the route that you end up having to go with Starbit. Just forget about having it be a water and just go, okay, I'm going to make sure this doesn't get rinsed by Galaxy. I'm just going to check real fast. I just want to check on Foamee and Rise from the Depths specifically, because those are the two most relevant ones when it comes to the use of this card. Okay, so base set Caprigal. This doesn't care about what you enchant it with. And where's Foamee? Am I missing Foamee? There's Foamee. Right, Foamee is the first stage of Caprigal. Foamee also doesn't care. Let's check Frostfall for Rise from the Depths. Rise from the Depths also doesn't care. And last up, Daybreak. Let's check Coastolith real quick. Coastolith also doesn't care. So you can, all of these methods that we're probably going to be using to go into our what's it called again? Our Starbit, can allow us to misenchant. So we can just misenchant this, and ensure that it's not going to be hit by Galaxy. So that problem seems mostly resolved. And that means that this Water now has a really good answer to Galaxy, which is really important to have. Yeah, this is a really, really good card. Just its body on a 1 Spirit Elestral could be what, like, really saves Water from the gutter it's in right now. So yeah, this card's really, really strong. I like it a lot. Yeah. All right. With that said, this is going to be Hunter Surge signing off.